Na signal. Okay, signal. Okay. So, tanan dun tiya. Tanan ng mga leaders. Hello, everyone. Hello.
Yes, sir.
I-check ko
Hello,
lang
sir.
Hello. I-check ko ano yung attendance niyo ha before kita mag-proceed. Kung may mga dyan gitman. Mauna ako sa UMS 11B. UMS 11B, paki-on kang inyong microphone. Inyong audio. Tanan nga UMS 12B. Kasi nga mga camera ang naka-on. I mean nga paki-on ang tanan nga UMS 12B. Tanan nga UMS 12B lihog bi on bi ka inyong ka inyong ka inyong unmute niyo abi. Wa iti UMS 12B di.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Diyan, okay. Leader number 1, leader group 1. Diyan, ara.
Yes, sir.
Group 2. Group 2, ara. Wa iti group 2. Group 3.
Yes, sir. Group 3, sir.
Group 3. Group 4. Wa iti group 4. Group 4, group 5. Wala? Kato kita sa UMS 12 si Abe. Group 1. Sino ara sa group 1? Whitey group 1?
Yes, sir.
Group 2.
Yes, sir.
Ara. Group 3.
Sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Group 4.
Present, sir.
Dangata ka mo sa 4, no? Ang group ninyo? Abe, kung sino ang nakaano, kung sino ang ara sa may YouTube, paki ano be, say yes lang kamuda or say yes lang. Wag gid akot may makita. O ara na si Pat Heroin, Patriarca, si Pat Heroin, Patriarca, kag si John Cena, Pahak. Duha pa lang sila sa may ano, naka-online, di man sila kasulod sa Google Meet. Ano tanaan nabilin ka iban duha ka mo ka section nga daan. More or less mga 70 ka mo kabilog. Hundreds. Hundreds gini, 120. Excuse me. Ang nasa Cheryl Joy kag si Renmark. Ang Cheryl Joy kag Renmark ano lang kamo ila pag isulat ang ngalan ano yung hambalin niyo lang yes lang kamo da. Paki-delete lang, paka-check liwat. Ina nyo lang kung ara ka mo sa YouTube, yes lang kamo kay makita ko man ngalan niyo. Ang sa tanan man naka Google Meet, do kabuhay kita do pira lang kitang kamo kabilo nga daan. Pila kabilog di ang tao? We have pila kung kabilog di? 16? 16 kung tag 4 8 times 16. So, sakto doon ang mga liters. How about the members? Gina-inform yung mga members, children?
Ako, sir. Member lang ko, sir.
Ati very good. Nagsulod ikaw, member. Ikaw, dapat ang leader, Dani. Adiri man. And the rest nga hindi makasulod sa may
Ako man, sir, member man. Group 2, 12B.
abi, ilistahon ko diha. Sino diri ang naka-Google Meet nga leader? Pakihambal anay, paki-on isa-isa lang. Itawagon ko lang ha. Si Brech Ampanya, leader.
Member lang, sir.
Si Christine. All right. We'll proceed now to our discussion. Ang iban ta na nga malate na bala ta na dyan eh. Tuyara ta na sa Google. Sa YouTube, I mean. Excuse me. Ano pa na dyan laptop mo dyan, man? Alright, good afternoon everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Makita ang slide.
Good afternoon, sir.
Makita ang slide.
Good afternoon, sir.
Visible man, sir.
Okay, visible man siya. Alright, so I'll be discussing to you we will have our enrichment activities sa quantitative research ninyo. So kindly mute your audio. And if I ask you questions, you are going to unmute it. Excuse me. Alright, so you are now in grade 12. Your research is quantitative. And we have this enrichment activity via Google Meet and live streaming sa YouTube. So that ang iba hindi maka-attend kang meet, or for example, nga wala sila sang load subong, they can still watch over the presentation sa YouTube anytime. And at the same time, next year nga mga students will be able to view this presentation para hindi na magliwat-liwat pa. Okay? So let's have our lesson or our session objectives, which this afternoon we have here. By the way, class, UMS B and C, there are four groups each section. And some of you, I've read, dali lang, gin-check ko rin ito kagabi. Ari. Sa UMS C, ang ibang galing may mga topic you can send. Children, ang mga topic nyo, mga problems nyo nga ni siya nahimuan, yun ni siya sang chapter 1 sang grade 11 kamo. Nahimuan nyo?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Kaya ang atin nga, ang grade 12 is quantitative research. So qualitative is different from quantitative. So let's focus on the quantitative. So at the end of the lesson, of the session, you will be able to create the background of the study, make research questions and hypotheses, identify necessary terms to be defined in a study, write scope and delimitation of the study, and state significance of the study. So let's focus first on the introduction of the study. This is just an enrichment, and I know all of you here are familiar with the introduction to the study, know how to do it, and how to make it, and how to construct this part, this section. Am I right? Tanan kabalo sang introduction to the study? Or
Yes,
medyo hindi pa gawa kabalo? Medyo may naman answer, pero hindi pa that too much. Okay, let's have this one. Let's focus. Let's start with this introduction of the study. From the word introduction, you are introducing your study. Okay, this is the first part of your research. So the first part of the chapter 1, we're going to have the chapter 1 all throughout of the session for a while. And the introduction of the study, there are five parts nga ginhimay-himay siya, nga divided into 5 parts. And these parts are the background and theoretical framework of the study, the statement of the problem and the hypothesis, the definition of terms, the delimitation of the study, and the significance of the study. So, amo gini siya ang itsura sa inyo nga chapter 1, and I know you are familiar with this. And let's go to the parts. The part 1 is the background and theoretical framework of the study. Nga ga-explain some reasons for the choice of the problem. Why you have chosen such problem, such a study. Nga amuna. Okay, it also shows the paradigm, etc. and so on. The part 2 is a statement of the problem and the hypothesis. Of course, you are going to present there the statement of the problem and your hypothesis. The part 3 is the definition of terms, which I guess is one of the easiest section in chapter 1. The definition of terms. We are going to discuss that one by one. The fourth part is the delimitation of the study, and the last part is the significance of the study. Now let's go to the background of the study. So when you say the background of the study provides the basic information about the study and discusses the rationale for choosing the study. Here, sa may UMS 12B from the group of Kanesh with the work of Miss Hoxon and Miss Julene Espiniel, ang ilaya nga proposed title sa grade 12 sila is title nila is padayon sa pagpakabakod, understanding the experiences of teachers working overtime despite COVID-19 pandemic. So amurang ilang topics. So in the background of the study, sa background of the study pa lang class, you are presenting, you are introducing the problem. For example, COVID-19. So i-introduce mo dun dira kung ano ang COVID-19, the facts about COVID-19, people or researchers who studied COVID-19, who research about COVID-19. That's in the background of the study. Diyan yun i-include. And the background of the study will have a parts wherein we'll be able to identify each part later on so that you could be able to read or to write your background of the study correctly. So another in the background of the study that is more in depth. Well, silingan medyo from may pattern siya. Dapat siya madalom kag complete ang thought, complete ang idea nga gi-present mo. Kaya hindi man matawag nga that is the reason why I mean nga ang background of the study kang isa ka research is manami complete kay from the moment a reader for example kita magbasa sang sinulatan sang isa kang researcher kag kompleto do ang mga facts o kompleto do ang pagpresent siya sang mga problems niya and so on and so forth sa background of the study pa lang we are somehow want to read more of the study kay ka-engaging siya at the same time kakatchi ang nga sinulatan. So dapat from the background of the study dira ka mo ma-target, mahimo sang background of the study nga manami complete which explains why your research topic or thesis is worth the time of your readers. Of course, do ginabakal mo siya. Do ginabaligya mo ang imo nga self, ang imo nga study. So dapat manami sa imo nga mga kliyente. Okay? So you need to explain the reasons why you handpick the problem from among the wide array of problems and why the topic interests you. Nga asa pa kadamo-damo kang topics, there are many topics that we can use in our problem. Why such problem ang ginpili mo? Of course, we cannot have problems nga natabo sang 15th century, 16th century. So somehow ang napili natin nga study nga problem is present. But pamangkot ikaw, sir, what if sir kung ang topic ko takon nga ginkuhaan ko sang gin-anchor ko ang akin nga theory or akin nga mga research or mga researches during 1670. Pwede na siya sir nga magamit sa akin nga background of the study, sa akin nga body. Amo sina. Well, in fact, pwede man siya, pero mas nami kung present ang imong kuhaan sang imong sources, sa imong references, sa imong mga theories nga i-anchor mo sa imong background of the study para daw ka reliable man kag may credibilidad man. Let's say for example, kung COVID-19 ang imong kuhaan nga ang imong problem, so COVID-19 is very prevalent and the latest nga mga event sa katabo sa kalibutan. So probably waay sang background or why sa mga theories o mga researches about COVID-19 long time ago. Of course, that's very understandable. But perhaps you can somehow, pwede mo siya magamit ang mga previous history o mga history natin ng mga nagkakartabo when we talk about pandemic. So pwede natin ma-align, pero kung gamay lang hay karon kung magsubra kita nag-aware kita sa aton yung focus, which is the COVID-19. Okay, so the background of the study helps your reader determine if you have a basic understanding of the research problem being investigated and promotes confidence in the overall quality of your analysis and findings. Of course, sa background of the study mo pa lang kung if you use the basic understanding of the research problem, if you use all of these basic, and when the readers read your work, it somehow would give them a encouragement, or what you call this, manamian sa imong obra. Once manamian sa imong obra, then they will finish reading your work. So at the same time, kung may amo sina nga klase kang bagay nga katabo sa imo nga sinulatan, it will increase your confidence as well. Di ba lang, ay, kanami gali kang akin nga kaamo nga sinulatan kay ginbasa ni Sir Labordo hasta sa katapusan ginbasa ni Sir Nelson Bogador, ni Ma'am Dr. Marin Mante, and so on and so forth. So nagkakaroon ka ng nagginaboost niya yung mga self-esteem. So dapat sa background of the study pa lang, dyan ka doon tira, panamion mo doon. So what are the steps? But all of the steps should answer the question, why did you conduct the study? Nga i-conduct mo ang study. That's the main question in the background of study. Why did you conduct the study? Okay, so there are 3 paragraphs or the steps on how you formulate a background of study that is based on Tepid Action Research Presentation 2017. So the first paragraph provides warm-up to the readers on what the problem is all about in the current situation. So in this first paragraph, class, it provides a warm-up, your introduction. So state the problem and how this problem related to the current situation. Nga amo ni siya ginimo nga ginkuha. Amo ni siya imo ginstudihan. Ano na siya ang relation niya sa current situation? Let's say for example, nag-study ikaw kang cyberbullying or cyberbullying. So is cyberbullying a current situation? Yes, of course, it is. So dapat manami siya, dapat related siya, dapat current siya para engaging ang imong nga study. So pangita ron kamo kay I just do not know kang iyong mga topics sa grade 11 kay that's qualitative. You can ask me, you can direct you can message me after this session kung what would you wish to sa inyong problem. So dapat may group chat man kamo sa inyong grupo kay dira ka ma-discuss kung ano nga problem nga inyong gusto nga himuon. So dapat current man siya. Okay? Example, corn is one of the market grain considered economically important to Filipinos. Corn grains are often used as food. It contains large amount of nutrients. One important problem often met by corn farmers is a soil-borne pathogen, which attacks the plant even during sowing or planting type up to harvest time. Now look at the example, some background that is taken from the Understanding Research Basic Concepts and Methods of Research. Now look at the example. In the example, ang corn da is ginpakilala niya mismo, gin-introduce na sang researcher. And then, one important problem often met by corn farmers is the soil-borne pathogen. And then, here it goes in the last paragraph. He mentioned already the problem. Why ang researcher gusto niya nga sadihan ang corn. Kaya nga kuno one important problem often met by corn farmers kang gusto na sarihan ang corn kay nga may ara nga soil-borne pathogen nga naga-attack sa plant. Gusto na sadihan sila nga naga-attack bisan pa during sowing or planting time of the harvest. So amura na nga problem gusto na sadihan day ang klasikang study. So dyan siya nag-start. If you could analyze deeply, ginpakilala niya anay kung ano ang corn, ginpahambal-hambal niya kung ano ang corn, and so on and so forth. And then sa orihin niya nga sentence, ginhambal niya doon nga ang problema. Okay, ginhambal niya doon. Marjon, ang cellphone, Marjon. The second paragraph discusses the existence of an unsatisfactory condition, a felt need, a problem, or a gap of discrepancy that requires a solution. Perhaps it speaks of the reality. So, in the second paragraph sa imong background study, that speaks of reality niya. But in the first paragraph, that is ideal, mga your perceptions towards towards the problem or your study. Now, in the second paragraph, that is for the reality wherein tira mo ipaslak, tira mo ibutangan sa mga theories or mga research nga na-conduct na before nga nagpapakatutuo sa imo nga problem. Nga may mga solusyon na. So para to make it more reliable and based on reality. Okay? So example sina is soil-borne pathogens are among the most difficult to control in part because of the stability of the soil biota. Excuse me. Now, in that sense, even fungicides have no lasting effect. Biological control like Trichoderma Harjanum has the potential to protect crops against soil pathogens while reducing pesticides use. That's according to Bjorkman and Harman 1998. Now, paano mo siya nahambal nga that is reality? It's because somebody or someone had written or had conducted a research on that certain topic nga nagpakakatotoo nga that is based sa realidad nga tuod. So that is in the second paragraph dyan ibutang. Okay? So next there, according to Duffy, si Duffy naman diri lain naman siya nga source ang anang ginbutang. So that's in the background of the study. Now, in the third paragraph discusses the reasons for conducting the study, a convincing case as to why your research would create valuable and useful knowledge. So, example, here class, ano ang rason? Ano ang rason nga i-conduct mong study? So, hence, it would be a worthy endeavor to determine how this fungi could affect the germination and growth of corn plants. So the reason why this research, why this certain study nga about sa corn conduct is because gusto kang researcher nga i-determine how ang fungi could maka-affect sa germination and growth of corn plants. So amo siya dapat ang pag-flow mo kang imo nga ang pag-formulate mo kang imong background of the study. With the first paragraph, that's ideal. Introduce your topic, the problem, and the body is based on reality. Ang use some findings or results according to some authors regarding your topic or your study. Damo ang aton mga sources ina. Next is the last part is ano ang rason nga i-conduct mo study. Okay? Another, it identifies the problem which will be addressed by the research in terms of investigating or testing an idea, trying out solutions to a problem, creating a new procedure or system, or explaining a phenomenon or a combination of any of this. So sa background study, we have to remember the key issues. Ibutang natin sa atin nga topic, sa atin nga sa paglihon o pag-formulate natin sa atong background of the study, ang major findings, mga iba nga mga researchers, our researches, controversies surrounding your research, evaluation, and conclusion. Now, in the first paragraph, in writing the background of the study that deals with the ideal state that was, I have mentioned to you a while ago, this discuss here what is supposed to be done. Okay? Ano dapat? Diyan ka dyan, ano ang about sina ang problem, ano ang study mo. Okay, the second is the real situation, or the real situation does not conform with the ideal situation. If this exists, then problem exists. Siyempre, hindi man mag-exist ang problem. Siyempre, hindi man, mag-exist ang problem kung waay sang ginhalinan. Okay? So, in the third paragraph, discusses how the gap between the ideal real estate will be solved. This is how you solve it. Okay, now let's have the activity. You can unmute your microphone if you want to answer. Read and analyze the given sentences. Determine whether each group of sentences belongs to first ideal, second reality, or third solution paragraph. We would like to try activity 1, number 1. Abi sa may YouTube, sa sino dyan gusto mag-try? Just comment your answer. Hello? Ara pa ka mo? Hello, everyone? Sino gusto mag-answer number 1? Choose ID is this paragraph or the sentences there or statements there belong to idea, reality, or solution. Sino mo gusto mag-try ka number 1? Social media is a fast-growing phenomenon with which millennials are typically attached to. In a study conducted by Levine 2016, is found out that 78% of the millennials in Calgary, Canada are involved in social media use. O sino mag-answer? Ano na siya? Sa first paragraph, sa second paragraph, or sa third paragraph ibutang? Sa din na siya ibutang. Ay, wait, may nakasabat di.
Second paragraph, sir.
Sino day?
I think.
Sino na siya? Okay, that's in the second paragraph. That's in reality because there is a statistic there, 78%, and also that is a study conducted by, meaning to say the study is being conducted and it has a result already, and if there is a result, there is real credibility, or the result is reliable. Once it is reliable, it is based on reality, correct? So this is in the second paragraph natin ibutang. Kahit di ba lang bayo kaina sa second paragraph, diyan yung anchor ang mga researches nga kung sa diin related sa imo nga topic or study nimo or problem nimo nga naghambal nga amo sina ang klase kang problem is effective or manami. So this one here, social media ang ana nga ginastudihan. So ginastate there is a paragraph nga ang social media kung is a fast-growing phenomenon. That's according to Levine 2016, and that's reality. Okay? Now let's go to the second. Second, who would like to answer? Sino gusto mag-answer ka number 2? Because of the foregoing observations, the researcher thought of conducting a study on the level of involvement in social media among students of Oton National High School. Hence, the study was conducted. Ano na siya? Saan siya dapat ibutang?
First paragraph, sir.
First paragraph nga.
Paragraph.
Ano again?
First paragraph.
Nga first paragraph mo ibutang.
May sir, thought of conducting a study. Di daw i-conduct na palang something.
Okay.
I
think. Well, I guess, okay man ang answer mo. Ay, ba't mga sala? At least you try. In the very first place, the sentence, kung sa first paragraph natin ibutang, nag-start siya sa because of the foregoing observations. So, it's somehow not good nga mag-start kita sa because or that's conjunction, that's transitional devices, pwede man siya, conjunction. Okay? Excuse me. The researcher thought of conducting. Hence, the word there is hence. Hence is somewhat like you are generalizing or thus, same siya sa thus. Hence, the study was conducted. Ano ganyan ba natin? Di ba sa una-una, sa first paragraph natin, gina-mention natin ang atin nga topic, tawan natin kang meaning or detail ang ating nga topic, and then, ano ang problem nga i-conduct mo ang amo sina nga study. That's in the first paragraph. In the second paragraph, dira mo nun ginabutang ang mga researches or theories regarding or may relation sa imo nga problem or study. Let's say, for example, sila Bordo 2021 naghambal nga ang social media is a blank blank blank. So karon ang imo nga problem or imo nga study is about social media man, so pwede mo to siya magamit sa imo nga second paragraph. Kay realidad siya, buot silingon, nagbutang ikaw kang isa kang paragraph or thought based sa study nga natapos doon, nga may realidad, may kamatuuran. Okay? While in the last part of your background study, dyan mo i-mention ano, paano, sa diin, ang pagkandak ng study nimo ibutang mo sa let's say for example about social media ang atang topic ha, for example social media. So sa last part nimo kang imo nga study, ibutang mo doon ang objectives. Ano, that's why the example na ano ang rason nga i-conduct mo na. That is to determine. So, for example, kung social media ang imo nga topic here, sa ato nga sample diri, hence, kuno, gin-conduct ang study. Amo na siya kay gin-conduct ang study. It's because to identify the level of involvement of social media among students in Oton National High School. Gin-rephrase lang siya, class. Hindi gid siya dapat nga same nga length or same nga structure kang ato nga sentences ang sa example ko. Okay? So this is in the last paragraph. This one, the third one, is in the first paragraph. This is ideal kaya nga perceptions mo ang ginahatag dyan. Let's say, for example, social media has become an important part of our lives these days. So, sige, introduce ka pa about social media. Applications like Facebook and Twitter allow us to stay connected. That's ideal. Okay? Ideal na siya. As to stay connected with friends and family around the world. People have instant access to information, photos, videos, and updates for their lives. Now, pwede mo mara siya masupunan dahil nga aamo na siyang imo i-conduct ng study. And why you conduct such topic. Okay? Now, in the theoretical framework or conceptual framework, If you are familiar sa mga handout sa module ninyo dira sa conceptual framework of the study, that's a concept framework refers to a system of ideas, beliefs, assumptions, and theories that inform, support, and cater specifically to your study. So dira, ano ko lang dyan ha, escape ko lang dyan ha, para dito ko lang siya i-explain kaninyo. May karon mabuhayan kita ba? Buhayan kita. Okay, lawi ko daan da yan. Okay. Now, in the conceptual framework class, please remember, in order to illustrate your conceptual framework, you need to create a box for each variable. So, use arrows to indicate cause and effect relationships. Ang arrow, may kita ka muna sa sample ninyo sa inyong libro or sa module ninyo nga may conceptual paradigm, may paradigm siya na may mga boxes. Okay? So, each component class has a corresponding meaning kung para sa di na siya ginagamit. So, ang arrow, bukas salingan kang arrow, kung ang imo nga problem, for example, ang problem nimo is nag-determine cause and effect nga relationships, gamitan mo siya sang arrow ang conceptual framework mo. Okay? So, each arrow should start from the variable that has causal influence and point the variable that is being affected. So, cause, effect. So, if there is a cause and effect relationship, you're going to use arrow. Now, use a line when you expect a correlation between two variables but no cause-effect relationship. Kung wala lang siya sang cause and effect na relasyon, line lang gid. Okay? Now, here's the components now. The box is that's for the variable. Diyan nila sulod ang variable. Ang arrow, ginalamin sila is causal influence or the cause and effect relationships, while the line is connection or correlation. May connection na sanda. Paradigm dyan. Okay, let's have, for example, do you have a pen and paper kanino da sa ingod nyo? Okay, so let's have, for example, wait lang yun. May ma-online ako, kaya dyan ko is-type ang for example, class, we have differentiated instruction. Its effect on reading comprehension of learners. So, for example, we have here, nakita nyo rin dyan, send ko sa may, hindi ko ka-escape dito sa ano mo, sa may data, sa may YouTube, ang problem. So, ang problem da is, differentiated instruction, differentiated. Sala naman. Differentiated. Okay, differentiated. Everyone, please unmute your audio. Hi, everybody. Saan ka mo, class? Hello?
Sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
Okay. So nakita niyo to, nakita ninyo ang problem ng differentiated instruction, its effect on reading comprehension. Nakita niyo? Okay. Let's have this, for example, himuan natin na bisang conceptual framework. Himuan ka conceptual framework, independent variable. Nangasulat ka mo da. Kag dependent variable. Bala. Okay. Now, ano ang independent variable dyan sa may problem? Anyone? Ano ang independent variable dyan? Ano ang independent variable dyan? Wala? Why sandadon mo?
Sir, why kitaon niya problem?
Ay, hindi, I mean, why ko na ano, why ko gina-flash dyan, kaya naka-screenshot uya, gibutang sa may chat box, sa may comments, sa may ano, sa YouTube. Bali, differentiated instruction, its effect on reading comprehension of learners. Na-gets nyo?
Sir.
Okay. Ikapihan nyo ba? Differentiated instruction, its effect on reading comprehension of learners. Gets? Nakapin nyo dyan? Abi, try natin, abi magpanumdum kay ano ang independent variable dyan. So, ang sa statement, sa problem pa lang, may ngaran ng effect, meaning to say there is a cause and effect relationship, correct? Since it has a cause and effect relationship, we need to use arrow. Abe, o maka-identify ka na maka-identify sa akon sa independent variable. Sino? Sino maka-identify dan? Hala? Saan ka batiin? Ano dyan ang atin nga independent variable? Dyan ka mo doon. Sige lang, sabat lang ka mo. Lantaw ka mo class, maman ayo class ang ating independent variable kag dependent variable base sa inyo nga sa problem, sa topic nga gamit mo. Since there is effect sa ating nga problem, may ano siya, may cause and effect relationship. Meaning to say, ang ating i-conduct ng study nga methodology is a quasi-experimental. So, since it is an experimental, dapat may control group kita kag may experimental group. Are you with me? Na. So, ano ang andang independent variable dyan? Ana nga dependent variable amo ang differentiated instruction. Dayon, so sa dalam ka independent variable, i-box nimo, sulatan nimo ka differentiated instruction. And then, kay cause and effect relationship, kami control kita kag experimental group. Let's say, for example, isa labi mo, so differentiated instruction lang, its effect on reading comprehension of learners. So, ang dependent variable na is level of reading comprehension skills kang learners. So, dalam naka-dependent variable class. So, ano matabo? Ang arrow, ang box nga nakasulod si differentiated instruction, dapat may arrow siya nga nagapa-kadto kay level of reading comprehension skills sa may dependent variable. Okay? Sino doon nakabalo maghimo ka paradigm kang conceptual framework niya sa inyo nga grade 12, grade 11. Waay pa kamo kabuhat? Hello?
Dawa ay pa man, sir.
Ano ang ginpasa nyo last time? Maginpasa ka mo sa grade 12 or grade 11 ka mo? Maginpasa ka mo sa grade 12 ka mo? Grade 11 ka mo, I mean? Class? Hala, why tanong duman.
Ang chapter 1, chapter 2, o chapter 3 malang, sir, nga sa research.
Pero why ka mo nagamit ka conceptual framework?
Dawa ay man.
Ay, sige talaga ni. Alright, now let's go to the research paradigm. That is the relationship of independent and dependent variables. So let's have, for example, depression awareness and self-management among teenagers inputs to the development for an advocacy. So diri, kung basihan natin ang problem, that is depression awareness and self-management among teenagers inputs to development for an advocacy, diyan kita makuha din class kat kang independent variables kag dependent variables. So ang atang independent variables amo ang personal factors nga naga-affect sa kabataan, sa teenager. Ano-ano bala. So, pwede man magaling nga madugang yung diri sex, male, female, type of family, nuclear family, single parent family, extended family, step family, and so on. Kaya nga mostly ka mga naga-depressible nga mga students, nga mga kabataan, would somehow maka-affect ng andang family situations, di ba lang? Kung ano ang type of family na nakapagid. And pwede man gani nga islan mo dyan si sex di, islan mo abi ana nga religion na abi or religious affiliation na abi pamatyagan mo abi may effect si religion niya sa anang sa pag-depress kang isa kang teenager. Nan amo sina. Pwede personal factors or depende kanimo. So diya, pwede gingamit natin ang si independent, si type of family kag sex niya. Nga kung sa diin, naga-connect siya or related siya sa depression awareness kag self-management. Kaya atin nga problem is depression awareness kag self-management kag teenager. So, as depression awareness kag self-management, nagadepende ang pag-depress, ang depression awareness kay isa kang bata, isa ka teenager, kag pag-manage niya kang self na sa kung ano siya sa independent nga male or female. Either may posibilidad nga kung ang babae abi mas more aware ang babae sa depression compare sa lalaki. Niya mo sina. Or mas nami mag-manage ang lalaki compare sa babae sa ila self. Mo sina. So, at the same time, ang mga participants nimo, for example, are more likely sa type ka family nga single parent family abi ang mga ibang participants damo. So may effect bala ang pagiging single parent kang isa kang may effect bala ang pag-involve kang isa kang teenager sa isa kang single parent family nga ara siya nga naga-stay siya sa isa kang family nga nanay niya lang, wala sang tatay or tatay, wala sang nanay. May epekto bala ina sa teenager? Nan. Tapos ang output na is inputs to the development for an advocacy. Kaya ang output niya, kaya may kabutang diya, inputs to development for an advocacy. So ang himuon is magkakaroon siya ng output nga advocacy campaign regarding sa depression or self-management. Depende. So let's go to the research questions. So sa research question natin, the statement of a problem that clearly states the interest and purpose of the study. Of course, that's gina-state mo dyan ang interest and purpose of the study. So sa introduction man, i-state mo briefly ang rationale of the research problem, which has two parts. Excuse me, sakit na puwa ko. The first is the general statement. The second is the specific research questions. Example natin sa may nag-message si Ma'am Lowelyn galing Hequali a research kang grade 11, so wala siya paradigm. Okay. Thank you, Ma'am Lowy. And notice na si Ma'am Lowy kay Anda ni Dr. Marin Manting slides again edit ko lang. Okay, now let's go to the statement of the problem. So we have still the same problem. So depression awareness and self-management among teenagers in the development of an advocacy. So example, amo ni siyang format ninyo kang statement of the problem ninyo. The study aims to determine the depression awareness and self-management among teenagers. Specifically, it will seek answers to the following questions. What is the level of depression awareness among teenagers as an entire group and when classified according to sex and type of family? Kay ginamitan natin ang atang independent variable tuya is ang sex kag ang type of family kang participants natin. Okay? So, ang second is what is the level of self-management of teenagers towards depression as an entire group and when classified according to sex and type of family. Another is, are there significant differences on the depression awareness of teenagers when classified according to sex and type of family? Are there significant differences on the self-management of teenagers towards depression when classified according to sex and type of family? If you could observe, class, statement of the problems 1 and 2 and statement of the problems 3 and 4 lain. So sa 1 and 2, level of depression of awareness among teenagers nga as to entire group and when classified according to sex and type of family. While in number 2, statement of a problem, that is the level naman ta self-management because we have two dependent variables here, and these are depression awareness and self-management. So ginhimay-himay natin or isa-isa natin ang pag-construct ng question to make it clear. Okay? So, in the first question, we used the level of depression sa depression awareness. While the second one is for the self-management, level of self-management as to the entire group and classified according to sex and type of family. Now, in the number 3 and 4, are there significant differences on the depression awareness of teenagers when classified according to sex and type of family? Are there significant differences on the self-management of teenagers towards depression when classified according to sex and type of family? So, diri naman ta na sa number 3 and the 4, significant differences ang atong ginapamangkot sa both dependent variables and when classified according to the independent variables nga sex and type of family. So the fifth one is there a significant relationship between the self-management and depression awareness of teenagers? And what advocacy can be developed for the study? So that's the last one. Kaya may output siya sa may paradigm nga butang. And the same time, makita man mismo sa aton nga example or sa aton nga problem nga you need to have another box there which will include your output. Okay, now let's go to the research hypothesis. Now this is where na karon naghalin ang aton nga mga questions 3 and 4 sa research hypothesis. A statement that defines the testable relationship you expect to see from examining the variables in your research that predicts what will happen in your research also. Okay, now in the research hypothesis, usually gina-employ diri ang pagkandak ng correlational, ex post facto, quasi-experimental, and experimental study. Usually, amo ginasanda may mga hypothesis na ginagamitan. So, depende sa inyong problem or sa inyong problem, sa inyong study sa subong nga i-conduct, either magamit kamo sang quasi-experimental. I guess do kabudlay magamit sang quasi-experimental because we are in a pandemic pa, di pa daw medyo risky pa magwa-gwa ka mag-gather kamo mga opinion to conduct a quasi-experimental nga or experimental studies na in-need gid siya sang actual nga observation or actual nga experiment. So, or conduct or pag-conduct ng study. But siguro magamit lang kita kang survey sa Google form or amo sila. So, kung sino ta na kaninyo nga magpas experimental, let's see. We will see. Okay? So, there are two types of research hypothesis, the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis. There is a null hypothesis or alternative hypothesis, nagadepende diri kung i-reject or accept mo ang significant difference kang ginstudihan mga variables. So hambalan ako that's the inner rule, dapat hindi ko mag-lower than the significant difference of 0.05 ang variable, ang result niya. So, let's have the null hypothesis indicates the absence of a relationship or correlation between two variables, an absence of significant difference between the proportions of two groups of people, or an absence of difference between or among the means of two or more groups with respect to a particular variable. So, examples niya, there is no significant relationship between mass media exposure and attitude towards land reform among lowland farmers. So let's go back again to the meaning of the null hypothesis. Indicates the absence of a relationship correlation between two variables, an absence of significant difference between the proportions of the two groups of people. Hence, this one class, kung may result na kamo, for example, sa inyong SPSS, so statistics, conduct nyo ang study ninyo, and then, ang significant difference niya mag-lower than 0.05, so you have now the reasons to either reject or accept the null hypothesis, Okay, another one is there is no significant difference between the mean age of male faculty members and the mean age of female faculty members. So we have here the difference between the mean age of male faculty members, variable age of male faculty, to the age of female faculty members, mean age of female faculty members, two variables. Okay, now let's go to the alternative hypothesis, also called as research hypothesis. Let's wait for a while. Okay, so in the alternative hypothesis, also called as research hypothesis, states the presence of a significant relationship between the independent and the dependent variables, or the presence of a significant difference between two means or two proportions. Example, there is a significant relationship between mass media exposure and attitude towards land reform and among lowland farmers. So two states between the two means or two proportions ang ginamit sa may alternative hypothesis. Now, remember class that the hypothesis can also state direction according to the slide, according to the research, according to the information given to us by Dr. Marin Mante. Ano po? Charger. Wait lang, hindi na lubat ang laptop. Okay. The direction of a hypothesis points out if the variables have negative or positive relationship with each other. In short, the increase or decrease of the value of a variable has a relationship with the increase or decrease of another. So in short, ang hypothesis points out the variables as either negative or positive anang relationship. Kung in short ang increase or decrease kang value kang variable has a relationship with the increase and decrease of another. There is a relation. Kung mag-increase, decrease, and so on. May ara na siya as either in negative or positive ang anang hypothesis, ang direction niya. Hypothesis also state direction. In short, the increase or decrease of the value of a variable has a relationship with the increase or decrease of another. Okay, so let's have the two types of research hypothesis: directional hypothesis and non-directional hypothesis. Now, so directional, from the word direct, states whether the relationship between two variables is direct or inverse or positive or negative. It is examined through a one-tailed test. Ang one-tailed test nga na siya, class, ma-explain siya kang sa may statistics ninyo o sa statistics and probability ninyo nga subject sa grade 11. Okay, so the higher the level of exposure of farmers to mass media, the more favorable their attitude towards land reform. That's positive. Positive ang relationship, and this is directional since it has a positive relation to the two variables. Now let's go to the non-directional. Does not specify the direction or relationship between variables. It merely states the presence or absence of relationship between two variables, or that one variable influences another, or there is a significant difference in the mean values of two variables. It is examined through a two-tailed test. Example: there is a significant difference between the proportion of women and the proportion of men who are engaged in dry business. Now we have here same topic, same problem: depression awareness and self-management among teenagers inputs the development of an advocacy. So, ang research questions, for example, niya is, are there, kung makita ka mo sila, dila sa inyong part ka inyong chapter 1 nga statement of the problem 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, and so on. Kung pila ra kang bilog nga questions. Ang questions, research questions 3, 4, 5 na about the significant differences would relate to the hypothesis sa pihak. There's a pihak. Let's say, for example, are there significant differences on the depression awareness of teenagers when classified according to sex and type of family? So, in the hypothesis here, there are no significant differences on the depression of awareness of teenagers and when classified according to sex and type of family. So, another research question, for example, is, are there significant differences on the self-management of teenagers? Amo siya kaina ang ginbalik natin to sa statement of the problem nga ginambay ko kaninyo nga ang 3 and 4 and 6, ang 3, 4 and 5 though same ang ilang content kang andang questions, nag-vary lang sila sa variables nga ginagamit o gina-construct sa paggamit ng question. So, are there significant differences on the self-management of teenagers towards depression when classified according to sex and type of family? So, the hypothesis would be there are no significant differences on the self-management of teenagers towards depression when classified according to sex and type of family. Now, the fifth is there a significant relationship between the self-management and depression awareness of teenagers? So the hypothesis would become, or would be, there is no significant relationship between the self-management and depression awareness of teenagers. Now, let's move on to the definition of terms. This is very easy. Okay, so panandali, basigan na natin yung definition of terms. Kaya mahatag ako sa short quiz gamit ang ating Classpoint. Kay masakit ang puwa ko dun. Okay, definition of terms. So, sa definition of terms, dira mo kinabutang ang mga list of words na dapat mong tagaan sa definition. ang mga words or yung mga words nga makitaan nga gingamit nimo sa imo nga research, specifically sa study mo, specifically sa imo nga problem, sa formulation ka problem mo or ara na mismo sa imo nga problem na na-formulate. So, this gives your readers an understanding of the concepts or factors that will be discussed throughout your study, as well as contextual information as to how you will be using those concepts in your study. So, may ara, the definition of terms, I mean class, has this flow. So, may ara siya nga conceptual definition and the operational definition. Ang conceptual definition natin, makita ang conceptual definition na amura ang mga definition na taken from the dictionary or from sources, valid sources, or ginstate ka mga author in line with the words that you define. So that is conceptual definition. While operational definition naman na class is below sina sang meaning kang word nga ginagamit nimo is the operational definition nga naga-indicate nga how the particular term nga ginagamit nimo or the variable is measured or used in the study. Paano mo to siya ginagamit? Paano ano ang pag-measure, how or use in the study, how you measured or use in the study ang amo sina nga mga words. That is operational definition na tana. Example niya. Look at the example, the conceptual definition niya kag sa operational definition. Sa conceptual definition, that is adaptive leadership. Adaptive leadership is the behavior of leaders and the actions they take to encourage others to address and resolve changes that are central in their lives. North House. The word adaptive leadership is defined by North House 2016. Have you noticed, if you could observe, there is an enclosed parenthesis there of the author and the year it published. So, sa conceptual framework, dira na mismo makita ang tutuod nga meaning sang word nga ginagamit or phrase nga ginagamit sa imo nga problem or imo nga study. So, paano siya magiging operational definition? Himuan mo siya. So, below that, in this study, it refers to the leadership behaviors and actions of principals in selected senior high schools and schools division of Iloilo to address and resolve the changes brought about by Quantitative curriculum, specifically na senior high school program. So, diri, how it measured ang mga variable nimo. Paano siya gamitan ang variables nimo gamit ang ina nga term. So, himuan niya, gin-state niya in her own words. So, ari pagid ang mga examples. Okay. So, hapos lang na siya ang atin nga definition of terms. Now, let's go to the scope and delimitation of the study. From the word scope, ang makita nga scope is kung sa atong pagsakarayan nato sa pag-intindi natin scope is ang bahin, scope ang dala. Ano ang dala niya? Hindi nga dala nga daramo. Ano ang I forgot kung anong terms ang scope sa kinaraya. Basta scope is the entire delimitation of the study and the delimitation, ang limit niya, delimitation of the study, delimitation. The coverage, that's the term. Ang kinaraya coverage is coverage na lang para hapos lang natin intindihin na. Okay, describes the coverage of the study. So, specifies what is covered in terms of concept, number of subjects, or the population included in the studies, will ask the timeline when the study is conducted. Okay, that is the scope. So, sa delimit, how to delimit factors or variables that are not to be included. Ang mga factors, mga variables nga hindi pwede dapat nga ihambal dyan, hindi pag-ihambal. Just like for example, kung nag-state mo dyan kang sinulatan kay sa author in regards with your study, so ma-limit lang kita. Okay? So, boundary in terms of time frame. So, ano ang time frame mo, saan mo siya umpisahan, saan mo siya matapos, and so on. Number of participants, pila ang number of participants mo respondents nga ibutang mo da sa diin. In short, the scope and the limitation of the study class answers the 5 W's and 1 how questions. So, what? The topic of the investigation in the variables, where, the setting, when, the time frame, saan o matapos, saan o umpisahan, why, the general objectives, ano gid bala ang puno-puno ka objective nga rason or objectives mo nga agin conduct mong study, and the who, sino ang imo nga mga subject ka study mo, hindi ka man mag-conduct ka study mo kung why ikaw tikuhaan sa results. Okay, so number 6 is how, the methodology of the research. Ano-ano ang mga methods or mga research design ang gamiton nimo in order for you to come up with valid results of your study. Hindi lang gid koon nga ginhambal-hambal mo lang to or whatsoever, dapat may gingamitan gid kita, may gin-anchor kita nga mga methodology sa ating research to make it more credible and valid. Let's have, for example, the scope and delimitation of the study. In the scope and delimitation of the study, okay, mabasahan class. Mabasahan man. Hi, mabasahan man ninyo.
Yes, sir.
Mabasahan ninyo. Okay, now what the topic of what the topic of investigation and variables included. May ano sa scope and delimitation of the study sa gin-present dere sa may slide. May ano. Ang gusto nga labuton, gusto nga himuon, i-come up kang the entire paragraph dira. Ano ang topic kang investigasyon? Ano ang topic dyan? The entrepreneurial mindset of microbusiness owners in the problems they encountered. So the setting is ano ang set?
Lambunaw, Iloilo.
Lambunaw, Iloilo. Ang time frame niya is will start on July 2019 to March 2019. How about the general objectives na is to determine the entrepreneurial mindset of micro-business owners and the problems they encountered as the basis for the development of contingency plan exemplars. How about the subject? Who are the subject of the study? It's the micro-business owners. Okay? Are you following with me? And how? What is the methodology of the research used in the scope and delimitation of the study presented? So you can find it below, or the last part of the paragraph, that it states that the study will employ researchers-made questionnaire and rating scale for data gathering and use appropriate statistical tools to answer each query. So there methodology, paano mo siya i-conduct ang study mo, ano ang gamiton mo. So that's in the how. Okay? Now, how about this one? What is the how there? What is the methodology used? Methodology nga gigamit natin sa research. So, example. Sino makasabat? Diri ang pag-format niya is, ang pag-form kang scope and delimitation of study niya, gin-paraphrase niya o gin-rephrase niya lain mang klase ka format. So how diri paano will use stratified random sampling technique to select the participants fairly and utilize the research-made rating scales, or will employ descriptive correlational research design. Ano ang objectives niya? Objectives kang research. The scope and delimitation diri. That is to determine if there is a relationship between financial literacy and saving behavior of grade 11 learners. And who are the participants? The grade 11 learners. Ano ang ana nga time frame? School year 2019-2020. Okay, let's go to the significance of the study. From the word significance, ang significante niya, ang sino makabenepisyo, sino maka sino ang anang mga recipients, the recipients or the beneficiaries in short. Experts concerned about the problem, illustrator, policymakers, participant respondents themselves, other sectors, and future researchers. Okay, ano na natin siya. Skip, ihapusan siya. So, sa significance of the study, amon siyang itsura na. So, the result of the study may be helpful for the following individuals in terms of managing their own finances to it. So, ma-start kita sa school administrators sa pinaka-highest nga kung school administrators ang masunod o ang maggamit sina nga results ng study, syempre, madala niya rin ang tanan-tanan, ang under ka na. Teachers, learners, parents, ma-apply niya. And so next, ang teachers, parents, and usually the ka-common gid sa atin ng mga research sa significance of the study, pinaka-ori ang future researchers. Kaya diri makitaan nga, if ever kung ano ang results ng inyong study, pwede maging basis kang future researchers nga magamit sa ilang problem in relation sa inyong problem man subong sa inyong problem nga conduct. So hindi magid kuon nga same ang problems, but somehow ang mga variables na gingamit sa problems are somewhat the same with the problems ng future researchers. So pwede niya nga gamiton nga study ang imo nga study, ang ato nga study, dira na i-anchor ang anang nga study sa ato nga study. Okay? So, amo pagin mga example niya. Okay. Format kang inyo nga research is font style and size is Tahoma 11. Take note. Line spacing niya is double spaced. Margin is sa left niya is 1.5. 1.5 sa 1.5 inches. Sa right niya is 1 inch lang. Tapos sa babaw, sa top niya is 1 inch man. And sa bottom is 1 inch man. And that is in short band paper. Short band paper na siya. So each group, ang kada isa-isa kaninyo will have your chapter 1 nga isa pa sa hard copy sa next nga retrieval kag distribution sa November 29. So, November 29. So, sa November 29 ninyo ipasa. Sino kaninyo diri or all of you here, I mean, is by may grupo. What may nag-isa-isa? So, kung what may nag-isa-isa kaninyo, good. Kay balaan ko tanan gid nga makaobra sini. So, right after sini, you are going to finalize or ma-create ka mo ka inyo nga GC sa inyo nga classmates ninyo. Kung sa diin, dira ka mo ma-discuss ka mga possible nga mga problems or questions ninyo, or we can also make use of your previous nga mga problems or study. I-modify lang natin ang mga problems ninyo. I-modify lang natin. Nga para magsanto siya. Okay? So, diri nag-end ang aton nga presentation. But before we end, tanan nga mga nag-online diri may i-send ako sa group sa aton nga inyo nga GC nga link wherein you are going to Okay. I'm sending now the link sa may sa inyong tawag sa aton nga GC. Ang class code niya class is send command. Ang class code na is 2810. Ay, sala. A new class code is, sorry, sala, 39092. First come, first serve na class sa 25 only. 25 participants lang. Please join. Ang top 3 sini is reward kanakan. So 3 pa lang ang nag-join. Five. Seven. 25 lang gid, first 25 lang gid ang makasulod. May 10 na kita. May 12. Okay, dangatan ko lang sa 15 ha. Maano na kita mong pisar kita. Why dito may ma-join? 2 sections. 12 lang nag-join. Ahay. Sige lang. Okay, let's start now. I mean 13, may nagdugang isa. I-15 natin para nami ang competition. Confidence. Oh, 17 then. Okay then. Ma-start kita. Okay. Okay, you have only 1 minute, 60 seconds to answer. Four to 5 seconds. 45 seconds. Close ko na. Okay. Let us see the correct answer. It's letter C. Mabilang total, who is leading? Ay, congratulations, LV Larder. Ikaw lang ginakakuha kong correct answer. Alright, next. $34, $35. Walo. Tang ibanta na nga 10, wa iti nagasabat. May ano ka mo sini may prizes ka mo kung sino ang mapinakataas score sa leading board karon ang to ang tawaan ka prizes. Ay, tapos na gini. Okay, let's see the correct answer. It's letter D. Who's leading now? Oh, it's LV Larder again. Gapamatigid si LV, oh. So, si Kate Angela Leisa kang si LV Larder ang nag-lead. Okay, next question. Apat pa nag-answer. 5. May 19 doon nga nag-join. Pero why sana nag-answer? Answer ka mo. Let's check the answer. It's letter A. Wow, very good. Grabe si LV ba? Siya mo rank 1, no? Gold, silver. Okay. Next. I guess this is the last. Alright, let's check the correct answer. Letter B. Si LV Lerder again is the rank 1, followed by Kit, ESL Zada, and Kanesha Huxon. Okay. Mo ka dasig mag-answer? Sino dyan dasig mag-answer nga dyan? Okay, let's check the correct answer. Letter B. Sino naman nagdaog? Si LV again. Si LV has 4,126 points, while Kef Giselle Lusada is 285 points, and Kenisha Hoxon is 2,769 points. Very good. Alright, thank you. So our winner, let's view the response again. Ato nga winner si LV Laruder kag si si LV, si Kathy Giselle, LV Laruder, and Kanesha Hudson. Alright, congratulations everyone!
Thank you.
Nalipay ka mo kang game natin.
Thank you, sir.
Alright, pwede rin kita ka-leave Ang chat lang ka mo dahil kanakan kang mga nabilin-bilin natin ng mga requirements or mga queries ninyo.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Congratulations again, LV.
Thank you.
Expect lang may reward ikaw sa imo nga envelope Bye-bye.
Yay, thank you.
Si LV kag tatlo
Bye-bye.
sa hanggang top 3.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.